A warm welcome to you. Thank you for being part of our show today. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebike.
And I'm sure.
All right, we'll be moving straight to our newspaper headlines today. And while we're through with that, will be our main conversation also for today. Please do well to be part of our community. Have a say in what we say. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com, and also you may like, comment respectfully, that is, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. With us today in the studios to do justice to all that we have a newspaper, of course, and after that will be our main conversation, if possible, is Cyril Abaku, journalist and public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Cyril.
Morning, Chairman Henry.
Thank you so very much.
Thank
All right, so let's kickstart our day with the first daily on our desk here, coming from Vanguard newspaper.
Okay, big story here. Anger a special prize goes up. Third time in 2 months. We have a lot of riders, like over 4 riders, but I think I'll just take one. And it's saying we are seeing complete deregulation that is coming from the independent marketers.
All right, and also looking at security issues in Nigeria, particularly the southeast, we have it here. Gunmen attack army camp, kill soldiers in Imo.
Okay, moving on, getting into the educational sector. Unilag will I lose top rankings. Our CU emerges best lingerie university in 2024. CU is a confidential university.
Yes, and also we have it. I think this should do it for today on the Vanguard newspaper. Army probes brigade commander over alleged diversion of palliatives.
Okay, let me give a little rundown to that particular story. The Nigerian Army has detained N.A. Sadiq, a former commander of the 3 Brigade in Kano, over allegations of theft and mismanagement of palliatives. Moving on, Sadiq allegedly diverted rice palliatives from the Defense Headquarters, DHQ, intended for soldiers under his command. He is also accused of stealing official military equipment, including a Meccano heavy-duty generator from a military training camp in Fagoro, Kano State, which was allegedly sold to scrap metal dealers. He has since been relieved of his duties and replaced by A.M. Tuko, the former registrar of the Nigerian Defense Academy. At this point, Cyril will ask questions. It is being known in the country and now in North Nigeria that most leaders walk the path of the presses. I'm going to say the footpath Sadiq, who is the, should I say, his former Nigerian Army Fokan has been detained. I want to say he took the part of his predecessor, or he actually learned from those that actually occupied the season from now.
No, I mean, because we don't even know them, so let's not impute evil to them.
Yeah.
What we don't know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the amount of pontification.
Yeah,
character
definitely.
assassination. But you cannot also deny the fact that people have done worse in the army and walked away. And there's a general climate of impunity and corruption, across Nigeria, and across the length and breadth of our country. No doubt about it. Clearly, there have been diversion. There was a time Saudi Arabia sent Nigerian Muslims dates, dates,
Yeah, dates, yeah.
for to
Fruits, yeah.
to break their Salah fast. It was diverted. It was stolen. And these people are Nigerians. We also was going on daily. We hear of monies being voted for security for the war on terror and everything. Those monies are, they go missing. But maybe it's his own little way of also saying this. My own time has come. But not to say that he is already guilty. They're investigating it, and I want to commend Ami for doing what is right. Okay, first things first, first things first. They've asked him to step aside. You can't be investigating a man and have him in that same position. It spoils everything. In fact, someone else has been told to start to take over that a former brigade commander. That's not a fry. Normally, when you rise to such administrative ranks in the military, you're someone who has been trained properly, both professionally and morally, even philosophically. Soldiers are trained at certain very high levels. They are trained in all kinds of things. They are intellectuals in their own right. But to have such people who have been disciplined to now to be stealing rice, that was given to him that was meant for soldiers for what's it called for as palliatives. And I wonder, soldiers are paid pittance. They're not paid. I mean, these people who they rank and file, they're paid pittance. The small rights that they give to them to eat and be strong and be there to share with the families, you're diverting it. This soldier's problem is not right. This officer, his problem is not rice. I don't think he lacks rice to eat.
So what should be the problem?
I honestly don't know. It is this human nature. You know, they went to a factory one time and said, this your security man is stealing all the nuts and bolts. What is the solution? And they said, let's educate him. He's stealing because he's not educated. And they warned them and said, he says not educated. When he's educated, with one stroke of his pen, he will sell this company. So when we don't deal with human nature and it grows and balloons, you never know what it can do. People sell off their countries. People who are highly learned. The problem here is that Nigeria is a country where we've created a culture of impunity, a culture where these things thrive. Frankly speaking, and I know where Chama was going. Some cynics may ask, did he fall out with his bosses? They need to settle who those people should say settle. Doesn't have godfathers.
Exactly.
People have gone and walked away. In fact, in this country, a former chief of defense staff was accused of amassing money and buying houses in Abuja as that he didn't need. In the military, after your CDS, who else do you have? You don't have any other person. It is the CDS, service chiefs, then the rest. Obasanjo said one time, he said, there are no bad soldiers in the army, only bad officers. No, but the soldiers who are told to do, they do what they're told to do. It is the officers, the organs are the ones who cause all the problems. He's an officer, and you see what has happened here. So the question is, how? Then look at theft
of generator that he sold to scrap metal people.
The rice first too.
Okay.
The rice first. the generator. The army must have a standard operating procedure for how it disposes of used items because they are the army. How does the army sell generator to scrap? Let's even think of it. Scrap metal people. I just carry the generator and give to them.
In context, so national people will understand what we call aluminium content.
It's true now that you see, just took it and gave it to them. Why?
All right. So is it fair to say that since 1999, that the military in Nigeria has lost its value? Because before now, we used to know the symbolic value of the Nigerian military was bigger than we ever thought. They represented us in the ECOMOG. They were the one that settled lots of rift between one country and another across the continent. Since 1999, do you think the Nigerian military has lost the value that it once had?
Well, I have to admit, yes, perhaps if it was sliding down the slope, slowly, sliding gradually, I think it's accelerated since democracy came back. You have to give it to it. Because, when Babangida purged the army, the purges that took place, the ones that were killed in coups or phantom coups, the army began to look like what it shouldn't be looking like. You see, we are doing all this ECOMOG fighting, but underneath, people began to become career soldiers. I mean, some people who joined the army because it was a way of getting to power. People joined specifically because they wanted to become governors.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
Very true.
If you get
yes.
People began to become ambitious career, so they wanted to join the army not because of patriotism or something to the country, but because it was a lot of promise.
Because I can still remember, if you look at back in the days in the 80s, the brochure for some of these young men, if you take a look at them and you see, what do you want to be in future? They say, I want to be the governor.
Yeah.
I want to be the president.
I think Obasanjo even alluded to this in his 1999 inauguration speech at Ego Square. He said that things had got so bad in the country that the army was so bastardized. People are joining the army in order to achieve their ambitions, not because they wanted to. And the Abacha years, literally, you see, sometimes, and I'm being fair, sometimes when you look at how society how countries have evolved, this is why we need historians. I can tell you that the Nigerian army, what has become to it, are you aware that Nigerian soldiers, instead of going to fight Boko Haram, will sit in their bunkers and use knife to cut their thighs open, slit their thighs open, and bleed, and say, I'm injured, I can't fight. They are doing that.
Very true.
You've not had stories. And I'm saying, I can say this on TV because in their own journal, these things are written there. That's where, so they do those. Not to say that there are no gallant people in the army. You see, where they have facts. Now, look at this. The army is a victim of Nigeria and a victim of its own bad leadership over the years. President Tinubu, in the manner of speaking, is a victim also of Nigeria. Sure, of course he is. Some people of Agida are fighting us today. Some people of Abacha did are fighting us today. You see, this is why in nation building, when people say leave no stone unturned, you have to literally leave no stone indeed unturned. It is line upon line, precept on precept, and you continue to go and look at you look at Germany, Dubai, maybe Dubai, America, Britain, all countries, even China. They've been on a consistent path of building the same thing over and over. So generations of generations come and believe that this is something to die for, and they're working towards, if you get what I mean. But in the country where we have spasmodic heroes, as a child, well, maybe not as a child, but like, some nearly 20 years ago, it was Dora Akunyili. Later on, we had the likes of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Now, look at how that part of heroism is sustained. If you went to the United Nations Secretariat and they said, Henry, you are now the Secretary General of the United Nations, that merely seeing the pictures of the people that have been in that field before gives you there's a sense of gravity brings upon you. That's what I mean. But you go and look at, you go to Asura and look at the Nigeria. Somebody said that, how can certain people be sitting on the same chair as Zik sat on? Go and look at people that were Zik's classmates in the university, what they later became in life. And people that sat in Zik was HOD of political science or was there anthropology in an American university. Go and check all those who have sat in that chair over the years. Come to in his own country. The places he has sat on, go and check people that come to sit on those places. You have murderers. You have all kinds of shady characters. People that can be accused of anything.
Yes, and little wonder still on the army issue. Little wonder still, we have it here, right here on Vanguard. Gunmen attack army camps, kill soldiers in Imo. What we've never heard before during the military regime. And also military lacks weapons, morale to defeat terrorists that come from Ndume.
They lack weapons.
Yes.
They lack what? They lack weapons. We don't lack weapons. We lack the will and the wisdom and the sense. You see, we are students of history. I'm not a historian, but I just love history. Go and check. When a country wants to be great, it becomes great. When a country wants to be weak, it becomes weak. No, we are not. Look at why are we getting to here today that we don't have weapons? What does that even mean? So what have we been doing all this year, all this while?
All right.
Your country is your country, and as government, you should have the intelligence. You should have the, government is very powerful actually. But when government elects to undo itself, it will be undone. So they don't have weapons. Who are we to blame? President Buhari entered into defense agreement with our National Assembly approval, $1.1 billion or so. Where is all the money? Where are the weapons? But that same government came to life. You see, that's why I say when you want to be great, you become great. That same government lied through their noses that Jonathan spent $2.1 billion. There was no such money. It was not phantom. It was only a joke. They spent their years joking and playing. But the one that they entered into is not to be found, and they're telling us that they lack morale.
Well, it's still a developing.
And lack of morale didn't make that man cut away. If he cut the way they rice of all things, rice.
Very true.
Rice.
All right, so let's move on to the Punch newspaper.
Henry,
yes.
So excuse me, I was thinking that the passion of right, I will leave Nakuru to him as a person, as commander.
Yeah.
Won't be small.
Definitely.
So what is he looking for? What was he looking for? May God give us the enabling grace. What does it belong to? Why should I put my hand in it? Even if they didn't catch you, you are causing yourself, you are causing your family. It is the reason we shouldn't shy away. You see, in the day Nigeria wants to be great, there will be a lot of moral efforts on moral reorientation for leadership and for follow and for the followers. I don't understand why. What is right? In my place, they say Chosaguru, Ungwalake. That is, once you've cooked food, it's no longer well.
Mm.
They say it enters the stomach and comes out. What is the thing about food? Is really, oh, come on, come on.
Thank you so
For somebody at this level,
All right.
Let's take this on the paper here.
All right, we have the Punch newspaper for today. Big story here: 1,030 naira per liter. Price NLC demands a reversal as fuel queues resurfaces.
Okay, moving on the top strip of the Punch newspaper. Senate faults governor's fresh move on LG allocations. Details are on page 30.
And also on the top strip of the same newspaper, Senate. Okay, yes, you've taken that. Tinubu's government borrowed $6.45 billion from World Bank, and that's a report.
Okay, moving on. North Central PDP caucus presents Damago's replacement October 24. Details on page 11.
And also on the bottom strip here, we have Buhari didn't approve Emefiele's Naira redesign, and that's coming from CBN ex-deputy governor. Cyril Abako, let's take a look at that. Let's go back to the days of Emefiele. And of course, we talked about Buhari here. Now let's look at the shenanigans that happened during those times of what I call the recolorization of the Naira. Of course, that's not redesign. Of course, it's saying here that's the ex-deputy governor that that Buhari didn't approve Emefiele's Naira redesign. Then who did?
they said it was the president's PA that gave the approval. You see, they joke with us. They joke with all kinds of things in this country. It is about the value we've lost. It's about the value we've significantly lost. And it is a shame that on a matter as simple as who approved Naira redesign. No, today somebody says this. Tomorrow somebody says, was it not documented? Yemi Cardoso is CBN governor.
Mm-hmm.
Let him check the files. The authorizing letter, was it one the president used to talk to him? Or the finance minister or the chief of staff to the president, somebody should have signed off on it. There are standard operating procedures, a CBN, right? Or stock exchange. Because they are financial institutions, they are in fact, because even foreign investors look at how those places are run to know whether they should bring their money. So they are run with some of the tightest controls you can ever think of in the world. They are very strict controls. Because if your central bank is porous, do you know what you're doing? Central bank, the minting and printing, all those places are tightly, they are among the most guarded. Your CBN is involved.
Yeah.
It's involved. So they are wrong with, in fact, in some places, they make sure that only the best people are employed in those places. Or like people you see use written to go and join to be. But that's by the way. The CBN, their staff and like they're working in the oil and gas.
Mm-hmm.
So those are top, those are some of so now the question is for such a place and for the undertaking of each signal responsibility of fiscal policy of monetary control, you are going to please spare me the recolorization. Let's just say you are going to issue new notes. How did we issue the 20 naira note? How did we issue the 15 naira note? How did we issue the conversion of 1 naira from notes to coin? How did we issue, which is really like a reissue? How did we issue 100 naira, 200 naira, 500 and even 1,000? How did Jonathan issue the centenary commemorative 100 naira note? It's different.
Yeah.
How was that an issue? That suddenly we don't know what the procedure. See what they don't know. When you do this, foreign observers are watching. They look at all. It's part of their what's it called now? No. Yeah, I mean, it's a COC of some kind, but it's what they call market due diligence. They are checking. They are checking because they are checking if we can't even control. I mean, the Bible said that if a man cannot control his own household, he shouldn't have to be a bishop in the because if he cannot control his own, how will he now control the house of God? That's the question Paul asked in Timothy. So the question we also asking is if we cannot do well with the most important of how then are we expecting that we're going to sell ourselves to the wider world and we should be taken seriously? These are the kind of things that Angola will look at and say, because you think that the only thing that matter is petroleum policy. Is not. They're not investing. They're investing in the economy. And pet only appears to be oil and gas appears to be a source of the economy. Even if that's where they are coming, they check. So is it that when they invest in oil and gas, All that kind of policy will not affect.
Well, now,
It will
yeah,
affect. So
very
there
true.
is a need. I frankly, to wrap my thoughts on this subject,
Yeah, please do.
Nigeria must do one thing. If you want to be the best, copy from the best. There are some countries where only the best minds man certain places. Israel is an example. Germany, America, Dubai, and all some places. Even in Africa, when they didn't have enough hands, they came to Nigeria to shop. Uganda, Botswana, the Gambia, they come and say, Nigeria, please give us money to come and become children of our country. And we give them. So how did the country that had such great minds in the years past suddenly come to a point where people don't know how what signatures should have authorized them to reissue the naira, and a new government is in town and does not know what procedure was right and whether the procedure that led to the other one was also right, and can't prosecute somebody on that ground. I don't think that the Buhari government is at fault anymore here. Cardoso and the place, you tell us the mistake that was made, and then let them fix it.
All right. All right, just before we draw a curtain for today, Cyril, speak to us on the new sheriff in town in River State. Do you think that would solve the problem that we have?
The new commissioner of police.
Yes.
Well, it may not, I'm afraid.
All right.
The reason is simple. The commissioner of police does not stand to the governor. He may have a heart or mind to do good and maybe friendly with the governor and be willing to help him. That is very informal.
He actually looked like a nice guy.
He never shows on the face. The policeman, you can't take him on the face. But he will be reported to they sent him there, right? Will they send somebody who will not do their bidding there? They sent him there. Just after that, they sent him there. So I hope he has not been saying that to send Bobby transfer for Mr. Fobara. But one thing I do know is that once you're in government, if you know who to talk to, what the other side knows and sees, you could also know and see. Yes. So in the end, it will be as the Yoruba say, one person takes it, the other person carries it. What you take, I carry. So somehow the team may just be circulating, but the governor had better know how to keep his. Gentlemen still read each other's news, right? So the governor better have his onions and know them well.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, so that's just about the time we have for this segment. We'd love to say thank you to Cyril Abaku for being here with us. We truly do appreciate your time. All right.
Well, hearing said, and I'll speak from them sharp rise in fuel prices calls for immediate reversal of price for the right.